Am I the asshole for kicking my sister out of my house after she didn't respect my house rules? Info. Me and my fiancé have a king-size bed, plus both of us are somewhat of a germaphobe and we usually try to clean our house every day to every 2 days. Long story short, 29 I'm a corporate lawyer and my fiancé, 31 is a real estate agent and we usually get home quite late, around 7:10 p.m.-ish. My sister, 23 was kicked out from my parents' house after she failed to pay rent for 7 months and we offered her to stay at our house for the time being. Our house rules were pretty clear: not to touch any of the drawers in mine and my fiancé's room and nor to sleep in it at night, as we have 2 guest rooms fully decked out, and also the fact that when we come home we are pretty tired and usually want to sleep right away, and also she has to clean her room and has to throw away her garbage. For a few weeks she followed our house rules, but all of a sudden one day my fiancé came home earlier than expected at 5:30 p.m.-ish and found my sister and her girlfriend in our bed doing the devil's tango. My fiancé got enraged and kicked her girlfriend out of our house and warned her to never do it again or she would be kicked out. We thought she had learned her lesson and would never do it again, but last week me and my fiancé had a function to attend to and we told my sister that we might be late. When we were traveling to the function my wife started to feel sick and we drive home immediately. When I opened the door but it was unlocked. I thought my sister had forgotten to lock it. My fiancé rushed to our room heading for the washroom, but when she opened the door she found my sister and her girlfriend tangling in our bed again. She got furious, and kicked both of them out and told my sister that if she couldn't adhere to basic decency she wouldn't be allowed here. The day after, I packed all of my sister's belongings and dropped it to her girlfriend's place. When I tried to talk to her she called me and my fiancé assholes for kicking her out and was mad at me for abandoning her when no one was there for her. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Why the hell did she feel the need to use your bed? I mean, that's just weird. You had some very reasonable, and, to be frank, obvious, house rules. She chose not to listen to you. She needs to grow up. Maybe this will force her to a bit. A free place to live and all she had to do was clean up after herself and not have sex in your bed. Even gets her own bed in a guest room. She deserved all that she got. Pretty obvious not the asshole. It wouldn't excuse her actions, but is there any reason she wasn't using the guest room where she was sleeping? Was it only a small bed or something? Again, doesn't justify it at all, but it seems very strange. Not the asshole. I don't get why the guest beds weren't a good enough choice for this, unless it was a specific food to the people who are kind enough to house her. I can see, though, why your parents kicked her out. Not the asshole. She literally fucked around and found out. You gave her some simple, basic rules for your home to allow her to stay there for free. Instead, she chose to bite the hand that was feeding her. Which seems like a recurring theme for her, given how she had already been kicked out of your parents' home too. It seems your little sister still has a lot of growing up to do. Your sister has her own rules: don't pay rent, have sex, twice, on other people's bed after being explicitly told not to, etc. She's 23. Time to learn how to take care of herself if she doesn't want to live by other people's rules when they are paying the bills. Am I the asshole for kicking my parents out of the house after they make mean comments about my work? I have a freelance job. I also work with OnlyFans and escort, which is my biggest source of income. Don't worry, community moderators, I won't say anything NSFW. My audience is very specific and they are not for that. And I'm not American. After 3 years working like this, I bought a 3BD, 2BA house with my own effort, and it's great for me as I'm single and I don't have kids. My parents, after several irresponsible and financially dumb decisions, were no longer able to pay the rent on the house they lived in. My parents and I aren't close, as they disagreed and were very judgmental about my life decisions, as were my brothers. But I welcomed them at home until they were able to stabilize, since my brothers couldn't receive them because they didn't have space. They've been living with me for 3 months. My work is inside my office and it has always been said that no one could enter that place, even to clean. My brothers came to visit us on Wednesday and started talking. In one of the conversations that was taking place, my brother talked about being facing financial difficulties and my mother said the following sentence. "Oh, do like your sister, take bitch pictures and post them on the internet. She got a house because she's pretty. You're pretty too, maybe you can," and laughed. She also started to say that she was afraid of my office, as it was frighteningly creepy. I asked how she knew what my office was like and she said she peeked in after seeing I accidentally left the door unlocked one day. After this, my parents made some salty comments and I, angry, said in a not too serious tone, "Oh, at least I don't live at my kid's house." My parents were embarrassed and I confirmed it again. "Seriously this time, I'm serious. The door is open for you to leave, dinner is obviously over." And again when my brothers were leaving, I with the door open still asked if my parents weren't leaving too. My parents packed their things and went to a hotel. They sent a message saying that I shouldn't be so sensitive with comments about my work and that I shouldn't be surprised that people think so. And that I had overreacted by kicking them out of my house for silly comments. My whole family is on their side and that at the very least I should help pay for the hotel they are staying in, because they are there because of me. I don't know if I overreacted and went too far, but I don't tolerate being disrespected. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Sounds like you are the only one with your shit together. You are absolutely right, they need to leave if they can't handle how you make the money to keep a roof over their heads. My parents were embarrassed and I confirmed it again. "Seriously this time, I'm serious. The door is open for you to leave. You are a goddess for standing up for yourself like this." Not the asshole. If they are happy to live off your earnings, they have no right to judge or make sparky comments. Well done for what you have achieved for yourself. Not the asshole. Your parents feel like they are entitled to both talk down about your work and the fruits of your labor. In no world do they get to talk shit about what you do while reaping the benefits of your work. They can either accept your profession and the support that can come along with it or neither, but they can't reject what you do with their hands out for the money you make doing it. Not the asshole. Your parents aren't in a hotel because of you. They are in a hotel because they lost their home due to their own financial missteps. They were also bad guests when you offered them shelter. If any of your family blame you for their situation, remind them that they could take your parents in to solve their problems. It can't be only your fault if no one else is helping them. Don't bite the hand that feeds you. If they're so hostile and embarrassed about your work, they shouldn't get to live in the house that was paid for by your work. Not the asshole. Am I the asshole for asking my husband to not be near our daughter during her physical therapy? I, 42 female, have 3 kids, 18 female, 16 male, 14 female, with my husband, 45 male. My husband has always been the disciplinarian and tends to yell and scream insults a lot and get mad quite easily, and our kids don't have the best relationship with him due to this. Our youngest was in a car accident, and experienced a spinal cord injury and is currently going through physical therapy and some surgeries. She is doing some practice at home and I don't want my husband there a lot when she's going through the therapy, or at the hospital picking her up and dropping her off for surgery, as he may instinctively get mad at her messing something up or him being there may make her feel worried that he's going to get mad. She has also asked me to try and get him to not be there. I confronted him and told him that because he wants to help them he may get mad easily and upset her when she needs to be as positive as possible, and knowing him he may worry about grades and let that blind him from worrying about her. He said that he would be there and that as a father he had the right to get mad when his children make mistakes. I told him that she really needed support during this time and that knowing he tends to be very disciplinary I would not be letting him near her during this time. He told me that there was nothing stopping him and I said that I would divorce him if he acted the same way. He told me I was being a f***ing psycho and I am starting to think that he is right and maybe I am overreacting and not letting him be there during this time. Am I the asshole? You are the asshole for making your children deal with this man for so long and the abuse he's put them through. Your daughter has extreme anxiety because of him. Take the kids and leave. Edit. Since this has gotten a lot of attention, leave him op. You're enabling him by labeling his actions as discipline, instead of the abuse that it is. You're a victim in this too, but your youngest is going through what could be the hardest time of her life while having an abusive parent breathing down her neck. Not the asshole. IDK if you bought up divorce just to scare him, but if I was you I would really consider it. As a father he had the right to get mad when his children make mistakes. This is scary. Especially if the mistakes are something your recovering kid doesn't really have control over. Not the asshole. No one else has said it yet so I will. If you honestly think he's going to get mad at her messing something up like physical therapy because of an accident, then something is seriously wrong and it sounds more like he's an abuser than a disciplinarian. Especially him calling you a psycho for wanting your daughter to be comfortable during this time of her life. Location flag, location flag, location flag, location flag, location flag, location flag. You are the asshole. Big you are the asshole. Do not ever, ever make your children deal with such an abusive parent. The fact that it was happening and you did nothing about it makes you just as bad. Not the asshole for this specific situation, but you absolutely are the asshole for failing to protect your children before now. Your kids are worried they'll set their father off yelling and he insults them. That's not discipline, that's abuse. It is not his right as a father to get mad. This man has anger issues, and from what I can tell, this is the first time in 18 years that you've attempted to shield any of your children from it. Follow through on your threat and divorce this asshole. My husband has always been the disciplinarian and tends to yell and scream insults a lot and get mad quite easily. This is abuse. Your husband is abusive. Not the asshole. Am I the asshole for calling out a coworker who refused to pronounce my name correctly? I am Irish, live in Germany. My name is traditionally Irish, and while incredibly popular at home, it is practically unheard of outside of Ireland. I started a new job in October and Brian joined the team at the end of February. I work in editorial, he in sales. He was introduced to me by our department head, who referred to me by name. We also did a getting to know you round in a weekly meeting. In both instances, my name was pronounced correctly, both by myself and my DH. However, Brian continues to mispronounce it. Only slightly, but enough to notice it and turn it into a totally different name. Think, Callie, rather than Kelly, and you're on the right track. He has been told repeatedly, no, it's Kelly, not Callie. At a meeting earlier today he mentioned myself and another content team member who he would be working with on an upcoming project. We had the following exchange. Brian. Are there questions? Me. Yes, the guy who wrote Swan Lake, the ballet. Do you know his name? B. A. Tchaikovsky? M. Yes, correct. And if you can say his name correctly, you can say mine correctly too. It's a basic level of respect and I'm not tolerating it any longer. DH came in then to thank Brian for his presentation and continue the meeting. After it, Brian messaged me on our chat program to tell me how I had embarrassed him in front of everyone. What I had done was uncalled for, and made him look bad as a new person joining the team. I didn't respond, but am I the asshole for saying it in the meeting rather than to him personally? Edit to add. Some FAQs. Brian is English. He is not German. No one on my team is. English is his first language. Yes, I have corrected him. In person. Many a time. So have other team members, and my DH. His response is dismissive. Yeah, okay, whatever. So anyway. Brian is mid to late 20s, as are the majority of my coworkers. His accent is not the issue. I studied in the area of the UK he comes from. I have friends who also went to uni there, and come from the area. They can pronounce it correctly. My name sounds similar to a large sporting organization but with a letter omitted. This organization also makes video games. He is able to pronounce this organization. How he mispronounces my name, makes it sound more similar to a Pokémon. The one that has at least 10 possible evolutions. My actual name, and what Brian calls me, has now been mentioned more times than I can count here. Don't get offended when I ask you to read the comments rather than tell you what it is. Take some initiative. Not the asshole, and that was brilliant. He says your name incorrectly in public. You corrected him in public. Fair is fair. Not the asshole, you have asked him multiple times to get your name corrected and he refuses to do so. The way I see it is he embarrassed himself. Info. Is this an accent issue? If I tried to say German words they would sound wrong as I would have an American accent. Is he saying your name just with his accent? I've read your comments op and I think you're not the asshole. A Brit not being able to pronounce an Irish name? Come on. That's just disrespectful on his part. When you've tried private correction, others have stepped in and tried, and the fact that when he came to you afterwards and his complaint was, you made me look bad, not, I'm really sorry. I have a speech issue. Some other reason I couldn't pronounce your name, it feels like a power play. Don't stress it. You've said your piece. If he continues to say it wrong now, everyone will know and be able to appropriately judge if he's being an asshole about it. If it's a problem from a company standpoint, your boss will come to you about it. Not the asshole. Major not the asshole. He's a dick. Now, having said that, I dunno what's to be gained by doing what you did. He may continue to mispronounce it and then what? Would your company culture support an escalation to HR? It's definitely a subtle form of bullying. Is he a Brit? I'm sitting here with my New Zealand accent saying Callie and Kelly out loud, and fucked if I can figure out how they're pronounced differently at all. I realize they're just example names but they're pronounced the same. Grew up with a Callie and a Kelly in our friend group and never heard a difference.